All right, hey guys. So, welcome back to the channel and all of those fancy things that YouTubers say. Some time ago, sometime last week, I believe, we spoke about minding a business, and how really and truly, if you spent enough time minding that business that's concerning you in all those areas of your life, you really won't have any time to be concerned with what's going on with everybody else, and you'll be maintaining the grass that's on your lawn. So, one of those areas that I get asked about very frequently from friends and family is finances, and how I'm able to keep track of what's going on and stay on top of things. And I thought that one great way to share it with them and with you with you would be to create a template, and show you a template of what I use, so that you can see that it's easy for you to use and it's easy for you to get ahead and stay ahead, once you're able to just get that awareness. So before we start, yes, if you are a person that's techie, there is a link to this template in the bio. You can make a copy and share it with your family and use it as many times as you need. You can use it as a starter budget if you need something more, advanced. But it's a starting point. And most of the times we get hung up on the perfect way to start or the perfect way to get things done. This is simple and it works for me. Who knows, I may change down the line, and I'm not holding you to that. So if you want to start this and then change to something else, great. For those of you who are pen and paper like me, yeah, there is a printable in the description for you too. And you can take it and copy it into your notebook and use it once a month or however times you need to keep on track of what's going on in your life, in terms of your finances, and then we can take it from there. So, precursor. If you've never done a budget before, if this is the first time that you're doing a budget, this is going to take you a little bit longer because you are gathering a lot of data. So, for example, you are taking note of like your pay cycles and how frequently you get paid. If you live with a partner or you live with your siblings, you're also taking note of that as well. Hopefully, you guys share that information. But that's the what's that word? Oh my gosh, that's the assumptions that we're making coming in. Two, you're going to be doing the same for your expenses. So you're going to be going throughout the month or looking back on previous statements or previous invoices, and make a note of what date during the month that you are making these payments. These reoccurring payments are occurring, making a note of that and making a note of the amount. So this process, before we get started, really allows you to do two things. And it usually takes me maybe about 30 to 45 minutes. If you're just starting off and you have never done something like this before, it may take you about an hour just to be able to just initially gather that information. But it usually takes me 30 to 45 minutes because this forces me to also ensure that I'm logging into all the bank accounts. I'm logging into the internet provider account. I'm logging in on the credit card. I'm logging into the insurance. So one, I'm staying aware of what's happening with those accounts so I can highlight discrepancies much sooner. And two, like a fact checking my thing. Like you want to ensure that you are precise with the information that you are using as your base, as your foundation, and just checking it allows you to keep that top of mind. It also allows you to monitor. If you have a credit card, you're able to monitor what those balances look like and some of the changes that you will need to make. So, let's get into it without any further ado and go over this budget. And hopefully you'd have learned a new way to structure your finances, or a way to structure your finances if you haven't been doing that before, and you'd have been able to learn something, one thing, anything. That's a goal. All right, so let me just go to my screen and come off of this soapbox. All right, ready? All right, so In terms of timing, I normally do my budget towards the end of every month for the upcoming month. So for January, I did that budget in December. And so I was able to, one, enter into January with a bird's eye view of what that month could possibly look like from a financial standpoint. I was able to, okay, look through and create some dates around when I would anticipate income coming in for myself, income coming in for my partner, and then be able to, one, highlight those high cash inflow points and those high cash outflow points, which is going to be very important down the line and as you're making your plans in terms of things that you want to accomplish for the month. So we're going to fill out, it's already January, but it doesn't matter. You can start this one right now where you are, and then towards the end of the month, do one for February. And, or create a system that works for you. This is just what works for me, what I recommend for you. Yeah. So let's put in the information here. January. So, like I said, if you are the only person in your household, this is going to be one, and you're going to see how this standard budgetary contribution changes or adjusts as we go. If it's two, then you're going to put two there. You'll see how that adjusts as well. So for me, it's two, so that's what I'm going to put here. And this just shows you, assuming that you are splitting the bills equally, how much each person would need to contribute in order to be able to meet the financial needs for the household. All right, so I already did a mock-up of some dates. These are all the Fridays in the month of January that we have left. And these are some ad hoc expenses. Definitely not all of mine, but some expenses that I believe that everyone would have or can have. And so you'd be able to relate to this and then just how you would lay it out. So say, for example, $500. Yes, every week we make $500 for the purpose of this conversation. All right. So you can see here just by looking at this that, okay, on the 8th, we can anticipate that we're going to have $1,000 coming in that Friday. And the same would hold true for the 22nd. So those 2 weekends are high cash inflow points. So if you're looking on, okay, when is the best time to plan for grocery shopping? When is the best time if you're a family that really focuses on spending on a good time or eat out during the month a lot, then you can plan here 2 possible points during the month that you'd have had a higher than normal cash inflow that you'd have been able to then say, okay, we'll go grocery shopping on the 8th and the 22nd because we would have had more than the usual cash coming in. And the same for the cash outflow. So just right away, just by looking at these days, the 15th, 16th, and 17th, those are high cash outflow days. So that's all within 1 week. So you definitely want to ensure that the week before or the weeks prior, you are oh, wow, we have rent coming up, we have internet coming up. So maybe not plan your restaurant outing on the same week as, a heavy grocery shopping, because that's going to coincide with what you would need to pay out for rent, internet, and insurance. So just right away, that's, some useful information in terms of just understanding how your money is coming out. Before I did the system, I had a challenge where by the middle of the month, we'd be okay, so where is all of the money? Where did all of the money go? And that was because we had a high cash outflow period and we didn't even realize it. We just saw the money coming in, but weren't paying attention to how the money was being allocated out or the frequency during the month. So just being able to have a handle of the dates, the expenses, and the amounts we would have then been able to better plan for, additional expenses during the month, and, events or occasions or birthdays or celebrations or whatever it is, around those cash inflow and outflow days. All right, so let's say rent is 400, internet is 50, insurance is 100, and credit card is 50. So right away, like, we have our total. This is automatically calculated for you. If you like food like I do, food is gonna be a lot, and then we have some miscellaneous. We're always budgeting for that. You never know what can happen. If you don't use it, then great, it spills over to the next month. But if you do, then you have some form of a buffer that's calculated in your expenses, and then you know where you're at. So ideally, you would have then been able to, one, understand and plan out the rest of your month, because you'll know if you have disposable income, what that disposable income looks like, and then you'll be able to kind of structure that around the days of high cash inflow and high cash outflow. If you're just planning for yourself and you have the same amount of money coming in every week, the same hold true in terms of understanding when, would be your high cash outflow days during the month, and being able to use all the days before that, all your payments before that, to kind of buffer for those expenditures. So towards at the end of it, like, ideally you'd want to have some form of disposable income. And that's really just looking at your total income and minusing your total expenditure. And that would give you your total income, disposable income, sorry. So if it's a situation where you realize that you do not have any disposable income, what this exercise would have done is, allowed you to kind of see, what's really happening, why maybe you're constantly in a deficit. And you could really from there start to look at, okay, how can I earn more? Is it time for a job change? Is it time to add on a side hustle so that you can then start to better manage your expenses? Or is there something that I could cut out? Like, is there a subscription that I'm paying for that I no longer use that I can help to decrease the expenditure and perhaps increase the disposable income? So the aim of the budget is really just to provide that picture, and help you to be aware of what's happening with your finances. And so you can make a plan around it. You can make a plan towards debt repayment. You can make a plan towards becoming a more conscious spender. You can make a plan towards like allotting specific amounts to specific things. So if you need a wardrobe change, you're not going to go and spend $5,000 in 1 month, because you'd still have $900 worth of expenses. But you'd have then been able to say, oh, well, I can spend $1,000. Like, I have that disposable income. I can spend $500 and kind of spread out the wardrobe change over a couple months. I don't know. That's just me. But that is something that I found that works, and it's something that I would recommend. And so going back to this budget contribution section, so because there are two people in my household and the total expenses came up to $900, this means that each individual would be responsible for contributing $450. So this kind of allows you, like, if you are having a money talk conversation with your spouse or with your sibling, with your roommate, to be able to say, oh, wow, well, I mean, like, really and truly, this is what's coming out of your paycheck and this is what's coming out of mine towards goals. So one person does not feel as though like all of their money is being invested into expenses all the time and the other person isn't. It's on paper, it's showing a division of that labor. Assuming, of course, that you make similar income, and then being able to adjust that as needed. All right, so that's it. That's what I do for my budget. This is just a mock up of expenses and income, of course, but you can use the link in the bio, like I said. For those of you who are techie, the link to this template will be there. You can make a copy and share it with someone. For those of you who are pen and paper persons, then by all means, there's that link. You can download and print it, and you'll be able to, just take one step in that direction towards better handling of your finances. All right, so that's it. That's all I got for you today. But I hope it would help someone in terms of stepping into the right direction this year. All right. See you next time. Bye bye.